So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Good. This was the same man saying this about when Kamala Harris lost.
We were supposed to be on a steady, if difficult sometimes, march towards progress. And yet, just a few weeks ago, the United States voted for a second time to not elect its first woman president. Everywhere, women's rights and women's progress is under attack, overtly and subtly. But I want you to know that I am, and always will be, a proud feminist. You will always have an ally in me and in my government.
Yeah, definitely glad to see him going. Scolding people and saying because Americans didn't choose a woman means Americans are attacking women's progress. So are we just supposed to vote for her because she was a woman? No. And the fact that he's so obsessed with identity politics, to me was like, nah, dude's gotta go. Well, now he's resigning. We love to see it. The vibes are shifting. You can feel it in the wind. Listen to Mark Zuckerberg. If you don't know who he is, he's the head of Meta. Meta owns Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Threads. You know who Mark Zuckerberg is. Listen to this. Let's go through this. This is wild.
Hey everyone. I want to talk about something important today because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political, but there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms.
Now, this is interesting to hear him say. I think it's very good. And like I said, you can feel the winds shifting, right? But it does make you wonder, is this a combination of things? Is it because Trump won? Is it because, he sees where the wind is blowing? Is it because, the culture is shifting? And as a result of the culture shifting, that's one of the reasons why Trump won, but vice versa, the culture could be shifting more because Trump won as well. Or is it due to Elon and X really opening things up and people respecting Elon and his platform for that? When I think about it, I think it's a combination of all those things. And I think it's good, again, because we want this culture shift. People are mad saying, well, he's fake and he's lying. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. Time will tell. But what's good is that our ideas of free speech, right, and not extreme levels of censorship are making it into some of the largest social media platforms in the United States. It's great to see. Let's let him continue.
More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US.
Good. Love it. Fact checkers, far too biased, right? Far too biased. Community notes has seemed to do extremely well on X. I think it's a great tool. And it's nice to see Mark looking at that and saying, hey, that's a good idea for our platform, rather than trying to have to invent everything himself. Seeing something that's working and implementing that on his platform, I think is good. Get rid of the fact checkers, far too biased. And what they do is these fact checkers are extremely biased, but they try to use them as some sort of middleman or some sort of legitimacy when they're not really legit. In a lot of cases, they're just activists. But let's continue.
After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US. So over the next couple of months,
That was key. They've destroyed more trust than they've created. He hit the nail on the head. Whether you like him or not, he's 100% right there. Let's let him continue.
we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system. Second, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse. What started as a movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas, and it's gone too far.
Hey, he's right. Like him, hate him, whatever. He's right. You can think he's lying. Time will tell. But again, let me ask you this. If you're saying he's a liar, don't trust him, don't like him, would you rather him be saying this and talking about making changes, or would you rather him be doubling down in the other direction? Right? So I would say have a healthy dose of skepticism, but don't just, he's terrible, he's this, he's that, he's not. Let's see. I mean, like I said, would you rather him do this or the opposite, right? This is what we say we want. They're starting to look to give that. It's becoming more mainstream. This is what we want. I mean, Facebook is massive. It has billions of users. Instagram is massive. WhatsApp is massive. They control all this. This is what we want to see, and we've influenced this. So, like I said, let's let them continue.
So I want to make sure that people can share their beliefs and experiences on our platforms. Third, we're changing how we enforce our policies to reduce the mistakes that account for the vast majority of censorship on our platforms.
Okay, that's good.
We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high severity violations.
Good.
And for lower severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action.
Good.
The problem is that the filters make mistakes, and they take down a lot of content that they shouldn't. So by dialing them back, we're going to dramatically reduce the amount of censorship on our platforms.
You can get mad all you want again, but what he's saying is making sense, and it seems he's coming out and being transparent. It could all be a fluke. It could all be a lie, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Right? I mean, you have to realize he's still young. He's not an old guy, right? So, I mean, there's still things he's learning, he's figuring out. Most people don't get thrown into, being the head of a multi-billion-dollar company, right? Dealing with foreign governments, local governments, all of that. So let's give the guy a little bit of grace, but I mean, I like that he's being transparent and opening up and saying, hey, yes, we were doing these things. They restricted too much. They did this too much. Here's how we're going to work to solve this problem. You have to respect it.
We're also going to tune our content filters to require much higher confidence before taking down content.
Good.
The reality is that this is a trade-off. It means we're going to catch less bad stuff, but we'll also reduce the number of innocent people's posts and accounts that we accidentally take down. Fourth, we're bringing back civic content. For a while, the community asked to see less politics because it was making people stressed, so we stopped recommending these posts. But it feels like we're in a new era now, and we're starting to get feedback that people want to see this content again. So we're going to start phasing this back into Facebook, Instagram, and Threads while working to keep the communities friendly and positive. Fifth, we're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas. As we work to promote free expression.
That is glorious. That is glorious. We love to see that. We love to see that. And I know people on the left are fuming about that. Fuming about that. We love to see it. Now let's hear his reason why. We love to see that.
I think that it will help us build trust to do this work in places where there is less concern about the bias of our teams.
Absolutely. 100% it'll help build trust. Yes. California is arguably, it's between California and New York, likely, if you think about it. It's one of the, let's say California, it's the Democratic stronghold of the United States. Yes, there's a clear bias. Same thing with X. When Twitter was in California, clear bias. So yes, get that moderation team out of California, get them to Texas, Zuckerberg. We love to see it. And I respect that, and it will help build that transparency and people to trust that the content moderation team is not biased. I think it's a good play. You could have done Arizona. Maybe it's a little purple, more purple, right? Or a swing state, but I'm happy with Texas. I'm not mad about Texas. And I think it will help build more credibility and legitimacy because you still have, for example, Austin, which is kind of, I don't think you should do it in Austin. I think it should be, Houston or Dallas or whatever, but it's probably going to be in Austin. Whatever. We'll see.
Finally, we're going to work with President Trump to push back on governments around the world that are going after American companies and pushing to censor more. The US has the strongest constitutional protections for free expression in the world. Europe has an ever-increasing number of laws institutionalizing censorship and making it difficult to build anything innovative there. Latin American countries have secret courts that can order companies to quietly take things down. China has censored our apps from even working in the country. The only way that we can push back on this global trend is with the support of the US government. And that's why it's been so difficult over the past 4 years when even the US government has pushed for censorship. By going after us and other American companies, it has emboldened other governments to go even further.
He's right.
But now we have the opportunity to restore free expression, and I am excited to take it.
I hope he's telling the truth. Like I said, time will tell, but think about it, guys. This is what we wanted. We want social media companies coming out, the head of social media companies coming out and saying, hey, we're going to open this up. We're going to fight for free speech. And then having some actions, moving the content moderation team from California to Texas, that's not a little deal, right? And then telling us how they're going to change the filters for their algorithms, not a little deal. I like the transparency. I like him being open. And I think, like I said, he sees where the wind is blowing. And we don't know how he's felt this entire time. He could have just been playing the game to win. When I say playing the game to win, dealing with governments and doing what they want. And he could be doing that now as well. But if he is doing it now, it's still working in the favor of free speech. So I'm here for it. So he's not done, though.
It'll take time to get this right, and these are complex systems. They're never going to be perfect. There's also a lot of illegal stuff that we still need to work very hard to remove. But the bottom line is that after years of having our content moderation work focus primarily on removing content, it is time to focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our systems, and getting back to our roots about giving people voice.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to this next chapter. Stay good out there, and more to come soon.
Good. I'd like to hear more. I'm happy. I like it. This is what we want. And again, it's a combination of the current political climate, Elon and Trump, those things. And then him saying, okay, well, maybe we can do this. Because like I said, a lot of times there's just a crack that needs to happen for people to feel okay. And then to start opening up. And, that very well could be what's happening. So again, I'm happy. I think this is a right step or a step in the right direction. And again, I wouldn't spend so much time bashing him about it. I think we should be taking this as a win and being happy about what's happening. So that's all I got for this video. Like, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a wonderful day.
2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold a primary because they were too busy holding a body upright. Are we still rolling? Am I off?
Go for it.
It was amazing that the pro-choice party didn't give their voters one when it came to the presidential candidate. Kamala was forced on us so hard you'd think she was patented by Pfizer or Moderna, whichever one's... Oh, God. Andy just gave me a very scary look.
No!
Yo, that is on CNN. I know a bunch of people at that organization are seething right now. But it also kind of maybe shows you the cultural shift that's happening. Seeing someone say that on CNN used to be unimaginable. And it's still kind of crazy to think about, which is why she said it is it still on? Are we still airing? After she said what she said. Because she absolutely roasted the Democrats. And nothing about what she said was wrong. I really don't know who this woman is, but we might have to go look her up and see some of her content. If we want people to be open and be able to say the things they want like this, we need to support them when they do so. Anyway, she was on point, and I know a lot of people are mad about it.
Individual family stories. One of the very first was from a grandfather who rang from Rotherham, who wanted to talk about his granddaughter. 1 month after her 13th birthday, she'd gone to school and then gone missing, and the school had rung her mum, who'd immediately rung the police, who'd said, "Don't worry, love, she'll turn up as soon as she gets hungry." She didn't turn up that afternoon, that evening, and at 2:30 in the morning, the next morning, a woman on the other side of Rotherham had picked up the phone and dialed 999 because she'd heard a young girl screaming in the house next door. Police had gone round to the house. They found this 13-year-old girl with another young girl. She was almost completely naked. She was blind drunk, and she was with 7 adult Pakistani men. She was drunk and leery. And South Yorkshire Police arrested the 13-year-old girl for being drunk and disorderly. They took her back to the station, put her in the cells, eventually charged her, and she was convicted. They didn't even question the men as to why they were in a house with a 13-year-old girl who was nearly naked.
This is a reported story in the UK. I haven't been able to 100% confirm if it's true, but there have been multiple stories like this, and in the UK, people have been put in jail for things they've said online. If this is true, this is absolutely disgusting, and these people have absolutely lost their minds. And there have been reports of stuff like this happening and them not wanting to report on it or hold these men accountable for fear of how it would look, being racist and yada, yada, yada. If that is true, the people who were doing this and implementing that way of thinking, get rid of them like yesterday. If all of this is true, so many people need to be held accountable. I know I have a fair amount of followers, at least on my main account, maybe on this account too, that follow me from the UK. If you know anything about this, leave it in the comments below. I'll be curious to see what you have to say.
The sisterhood is canceling Jeremy because he married his girlfriend and she's not a sister. So in a beautiful moment, after the Commanders won, Jeremy decided to propose to his longtime girlfriend and make her a wife. That led shawties on social media, on them blog pages, you know the names, saying, how could he not date a sister? Well, while y'all doing all that yapping, they've known each other since middle school. She held him down when he had a whole injury, while he was at his worst, while bruh got no cheese, no nothing. She held it down for him all these years. And now that he's at the top, he made her a wife. So I'm confused on why you lonely.
He starts going in on the women complaining about this. Now, the reason why a lot of these athletes or men end up with white women is explained by Dr. Umar here. I don't agree with a lot of things he says, but hey, when you're right, you're right. And in this case, he's right. So check this out.
A big difference between the snow bunny and the African queen is the snow bunny will find a black man in progress. She will find him on the job. She will find him on the university. And that snow bunny will see a black man with potential and she will invest in him. She will help him level up. And then when the sister see him 5 years ago, 5 years later, he's a millionaire. And the sister say, look at that sellout. He went and got a white girl. But guess what? When he was looking for a sister to help him level up, to invest in him, none of them wanted it. You know why? Too many black women want a finished product.
Even aside from that, it's still stupid that this man and people have to hear black people, or in particular black women, complaining about the fact that he decided to marry a white girl. Why can't they be happy for him? The man seems to have married a good woman and the woman that he wants. There is no need for us to make everything about skin color. It's pathetic at this point. Let them be happy. But also, I find it hypocritical because when a black woman dates a white man, we see in the comments, pasta and lobster. Oh yes, girl, I see you, yada, yada, yada. When it's the other way around, then it's a problem. Just funny how that works.
Mississippi Valley State University was just invited to Trump's inauguration to play for the entire world to hear. And HBCU, I mean, these kids been playing since they were probably little kids. These kids been playing instruments since 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade. And they're about to be on a world stage for Germany to hear them, Denmark to hear them, Africa can hear them, Australia's going to hear them. Everybody's going to be watching his inauguration, hearing these young black kids that grew up and dreamed of playing on a world stage for everybody to hear. This is one of the biggest stages they ever going to play on. And guess who's got a problem with it? Black people. Black people. Now, see, black people didn't have a problem when Kamala Harris had Beyonce paying her $10 million. Didn't have a problem paying Meg Thee Stallion.
I mean, he's on point. The same black people who are mad that Trump invited an HBCU band to play are the same people who complain about black people not being invited to the table. They don't give black people any opportunities. They don't want to see us shine. They're always trying to hold us back. Then Trump invites an HBCU to play at his inauguration, and then it's a problem. This is just proof that he can do no right. Many of these people have made it up in their mind that no matter what he does, it's bad. And no matter what side he takes, I'm going to take the opposite and say it's bad. That is what it seems like. Again, you're complaining about us not having a seat at the table, not getting invited to things, people not seeing our true talents. Then an HBCU band gets invited to the event and you're still complaining. This is why we shouldn't take many of you seriously. No matter what it is, you're going to complain. And people wonder why we struggle. Many of us don't even realize that our own racist attitudes actually lock us out of many opportunities that could drastically change our lives. And as a result of that, we continue to struggle more than we need to. Hopefully one day we'll wake up.
You want to talk about real racism? I'll be honest, black people are the most racist people, bro.
Oh, yeah, I know.
They openly do it. And it's because, and the reason why is because they're able to openly be racist with zero consequence so they can say what they want to say. You know, like literally I'll see them say the most deplorable things about white people, but they feel that they can do it because of slavery and everything else like that. And I'm like, it's interesting because you guys perpetuate the very thing that you cry about the most.
Yes, he's right, and I call it black privilege. If a white person's racist, they're ostracized from society. People don't want to interact with them. They won't do business with them. Perfectly reasonable. If a black person is racist, they find excuses for that person. Well, you know, we were oppressed back in the day in slavery, so it's okay if we're racist now. White people will hold other white people accountable for being racist. Black people, on the other hand, the vast majority of black people will not hold other black people accountable for being racist. Many people will go even as far to try to say that black people can't be racist. That is stupid. But many of us say we want racism to disappear, but we continue to perpetuate the thing that we say we hate. It is not okay for a black person to be racist towards white people simply because slavery in history. It shouldn't be rules for thee, but not for me. If we don't want racism, let's hold everybody accountable across the board. But what he was saying is accurate. And it's a problem. Corporate America pledged to hire more people of color. It actually did. The year after the BLM protest, 94% of jobs went to people of color. That is quite literally racism. They are discriminating against people based on the color of their skin to give other people jobs based on the color of their skin. And it's crazy to me because so many people say they want to move past racism, but they do racist things on a regular basis and actively work and continue to perpetuate racism. They just justify that racism because they're being racist against white people. So racism in today's modern society is okay as long as you're racist against white people, which to me is broken. Like you want to tell, hey, white people, don't be racist to other people, but we're gonna be racist to you. Like what? Like if we're gonna complain about them being racist, let's not be racist to them. You're not going to fix past racism with modern racism. That's not how it works. The amount of energy we put into making things about race when it comes to employment is the amount of energy we should be putting into finding the best person for the job, regardless of race. That's how you give everybody the best opportunity. Politics matter. Now, I've already made a video before talking about how much we should appreciate our first responders and the people that are out there risking their lives. But the reason I say politics matter is because there are many things that have happened that have contributed to this being as bad as it is. For example, right, I'm sure you've heard about many firefighters not having enough water from the hydrants, like they ran dry. Why is that? Well, the reservoir, the storage in those areas, there wasn't enough. So simply put, there wasn't enough storage of water for them to continue to use those hydrants. And you're like, okay, I mean, you can't really know what amount of storage you absolutely need to have. I mean, okay, you can kind of make that argument. However, in 2014, there was $2.7 billion allocated for new water storage projects. And these projects have not been completed. Well, why haven't these projects been completed? They've gotten billions of dollars to complete these projects to upgrade the infrastructure to help keep people safe. What's the deal? Politics. The people you elect, the policies they work to enact. But here are some of the reasons why there's been such a lack of progress, and it's been more than a decade. Regulatory and planning delays. I'm going to read you some stuff. The process of approving and implementing large-scale water infrastructure projects involves extensive environmental reviews, public consultations, and regulatory compliance, which has led to significant delays. Project selection. The California Water Commission was tasked with selecting projects through a competitive process which took time. The first funding awards for preliminary activities like permitting and environmental documentation were not planned until 2018, with construction funds to follow. So this $2.7 billion was intended for new water storage. But bureaucratic processes, regulatory hurdles, and just general mismanagement have allowed this to take place. The people you elect matter. Policies matter. Politicians matter. And this is a Democrat stronghold. They should be taking full responsibility for the mistakes and the negligence that allowed this to get as bad as it has. I'm going to say it again. Politics matter. So did we just watch Gavin Newsom just lie through his teeth?
Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
Okay, literally
talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call?
I
Because
can't-
I don't
Tessa.
believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the
Why
call.
is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So
There's
let's
no
get it.
cell service.
Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance. And
If you pay attention, you'll notice he said, I'm literally talking to the president right now. Then when she pressed him on it, it came out that he's not literally talking to the president right now, that he's attempting to try and call the president. Now, we honestly don't even know if what he's saying is true or not. Like, he could have just been saying that to make her feel good and make it seem like he's doing the right thing. But words matter, and he was selective about the words he used. They sounded good. I'm literally talking to the president right now. That is something totally different than saying I'm trying to call the president right now. But when he got pressed, what it turned into is I'm trying to call the president and I can't get a hold of him, or the service isn't working, or whatever. Words matter. And I just find it interesting that he did that. Because he could have just in the beginning said, hey, I'm trying to get a hold of the president right now. He could have said that. But he didn't. Because again, he wasn't literally talking to him. But the first thing he tried to get her, and I guess the cameras, to believe is that he's literally talking to the president right now. It's just interesting. Little things like that, they can work to shape public perception if you don't catch them. And this woman here simply asking him to prove it actually caught how he was trying to shape public perception to be something different from what was actually happening exactly in that moment.
So TikTok is back in the United States, and obviously I'm happy to see it. I think all the users of the app are happy to see it, but
someone tagged me in this, and I was like, you could see it in his face, right? It eats him up, and it eats many of them up that Trump is getting credit for TikTok being, unbanned. They hate seeing people like him. They hate seeing people give Trump praise and support Trump and give credit where it's due. So let's let him continue, and let's see what he had to say.
I want to be very clear about something. Both TikTok and Republicans are saying that Donald Trump is the reason that TikTok is back. He kept it alive in the United States. We should be thanking him. No. No.
Yes. But let's let him continue.
No. Trump signed an executive order to ban TikTok when he was president on August 6th, 2020.
Yes, and as we found out, that actually didn't have the authority to ban the app. The app was banned because there was a bill that was passed in the House, in the Senate, and then Biden signed it. And yes, it was bipartisan. So saying the app is not back because of Trump is the highest level of cope. It's slightly pathetic. Here's the proof. Actually, it's delusional. But again, here's the proof. On the 17th at 7:20 p.m., TikTok released this statement. The statements issued today by both Biden and the White House and the DOJ have failed to provide the necessary clarity and assurance to the service providers that are integral to maintaining TikTok's availability to over 170 million Americans. Unless the Biden administration immediately provides a definitive statement to satisfy the most critical service providers assuring non-enforcement, unfortunately, TikTok will be forced to go dark on January 19th. Remember, that was on the 17th at 7:20 p.m. So then on January 19th at 9 a.m., Donald Trump posted this to Truth Social. I'm asking companies to not let TikTok stay dark. I will issue an executive order on Monday to extend the period of time before the law's prohibitions take effect so that we can make a deal to protect our national security. The order will also confirm that there will be no liability to any company that helped keep TikTok from going dark before my order. Americans deserve to see our exciting inauguration on Monday, as well as other events and conversations. So pause to read the rest if you want, but it's not really integral to my point, so I'm just going to skip ahead. So on the 17th, TikTok makes that statement. On the 19th, Trump posts that today on Truth Social. And then after that, TikTok posts this. They posted this 2 hours after Trump posted what I just showed you. Statement from TikTok: in agreement with our service providers, TikTok is in the process of restoring service. We thank President Trump for providing the necessary clarity and assurance to our service providers that they will face no penalties providing TikTok to over 170 million Americans and allowing over 7 million small businesses to thrive. Yes, TikTok is quite literally up because of what Trump said. And these high levels of TDS won't allow them to accept reality. Or they're so focused on making Trump look bad that they will ignore reality and try to talk about a delusional reality that they've created in their head to make Trump look bad. Yes, he wanted to get rid of it in 2020. That doesn't change the reality that the fact that the app